Hey YouTube, what's up? It's me Chaitanya from the CodedSkills, and it's time for making the Frameless video. In the previous video we had left with some code, and we're gonna start up and continue the video with that code only. So this is going to be the bare bone of the previous video, and I would like to quickly go and add here a function which will load the window. So this is going to be a course for adding the window or creating a frameless window. So what I did, I had created a new browser window, and it contains one set of parameter with the width of 400, height of 600, and frame which is set to false. So now when you're gonna load it, so I can just go and say win.load URL, and just gonna load something. So I can just go and use the tilted quotes, I don't know what they are called, and again file, sorry, dollar dir name, and public, and then I can just go and say index.html, and when I'm gonna save this up, and I'm gonna run this video. But before doing this, let's go and start with the index.html file inside our public folder. So this is a simple bare bone of an HTML code, and now it's time for adding the content in our body. So now you can see that this is a simple dive with an ID of content, which contain a h1 tag with the frameless window in it. Okay, so I'm gonna save up my video or this stuff, and it's time for opening the command processor and quickly go, and I'm gonna write up here Electron index.js. Just hit enter, and see, tada, we got a frameless window right here, and it doesn't have the border like we got here and in our previous videos. So I would like to quickly go and close it up. So for doing this, I'm going to just press Ctrl plus C or Command plus C, depending on your operating system. So I'm going to just terminate the batch job, and it's time for move ahead. So just gonna add some more stuff here. Alright guys, so now this is the div with the ID of header. It contains the two parts. The first one will be the empty, and another one contains some buttons. So it says btns with the ID, and this one is for closing it, and this one is for this one is for closing, and this one is for just minimizing your program. So I can just go and say this is a this will be the min button, and this is a close button, and both will have the common, okay, let me gonna fix it, close button, and class will be control. Okay, so now this both will contain the class of control. Okay, and we're gonna work with this only. So instead for some giving it a bit of styling, so it's going to look good. Okay, so now we got a style sheet here, and what this is going to do, this is going to just simply say the div with the ID of header, give it some style and background color also with the div with the empty. Now there is some extra code for designing it up and fixing it at the top, but this is the main line, WebKit app read and drag. So now what this is doing, this is going to make the specified area of this div a draggable region, so you can just drag your window using it. It's a function in the WebKit or the Chromium or Chrome supported. So now here is the div for the buttons, and as we converted it to dot control, I'm going to say dot control everywhere, and I'm going to save my code again, and when I'm gonna run this and see what will happen. Okay, we got a frameless window, but there is a one problem. You can see you can easily drag it up, but let this is going to work perfect. So I'm going to just close it, and I'm going to come back here and give a script to the source of our index.js. So before doing this, I'm going to just go and just below the whole code, I'm going to say script. Okay, script, and src will be index. I can come back index.js, and I'm gonna save this. So in the index.js, we're gonna work and say document dot, or so you can just do something like document dot get element by id, and then the id will be close btn and dot add event listener. Click, will do some function for us, and I can just say win dot close. Okay, and I can just take this command or process and fix it here. Okay, something like this, and then win will be null. So this is, we are going to save some memory of our while closing the windows. So when you're gonna come back and run the execute the code, and I hope that this will work, and my fingers are crossed right now. An exception document is done not defined. Okay, and here we got one error. This is because this is not defined. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it here, and I can say paste it here. Okay, and now this will work because we have the instance of the index.js file. Okay, this will just gonna fuck me up script. Okay, add it, and now just adjust it a bit. Okay, and when you're gonna come back, and I'm going to close the first of all Electron, and fingers are crossed. Okay, we got the running window here, and here comes the exception again. Okay, and I can just think what is wrong in the code. Just save this, save this, save this. Okay, and this all sorry guys, document.get element by id close btn. Okay, I'm going to just test, and this time my fingers are really crossed. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope no, I don't get any error. And but this button is not working. I can just go and start the inspector for seeing what's wrong in this code. When is not defined. Okay, when is not defined, when is not defined. Cannot treat the property on off undefined. Okay, now I got one weird error. So I don't know why it's not working. Just wanna add it here only so I can say and on click will be let's say this will be the fun, and I can just go back and say here a function named as fun. So function, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Function fun. This will just gonna say alert you got that, and not only alert, it's going to console.log you got that. Okay, so now I'm securing myself from both sides, so maybe the alert function will not work in this Electron. And you can say says hey, you got that. Okay, so I'm going to close this window up, and I can just go and say function, and this will be win dot close. Okay, and I can just go back and see this how this will work. And here comes the error. Okay, and four errors. When is not defined, when is not defined, when is not defined. Okay, so I got this error. Why is it so? I will close all windows, and this time I would like to say let win is equal to null. So this time we are saving some memory by setting the win, and I'm gonna remove it from here, and this time I'm gonna hope this will work. Okay, and the fuck happens. Cannot read the property close of null. I don't know why it's not happening. Okay, let me try to import the remote, and this time we're gonna use the remote for doing this. So I can say remote dot get current windows dot close, and fingers are crossed again. And now you can see it's closed the window. So I can just want to see it again. So now you have run the Electron, and we need to wait for some time till it's going to start it up. And when you're gonna click on this button, this small red button, this is going to be closed up, and it's working nice. So I think that it's time for ending this video here only. Yeah, I know that we have not functioned over this minimize button, but I don't think that just put the minimize here, so for closing the windows. So if I wanna go and check it again, and what will happen, and you got the windows minimized. Okay, so I think that you can do it at your own. You must don't have any problem in doing this. So I would like to close the windows, terminate it, and that's all. So guys, that's for this video, and I will meet you in the next video with some other code, and do something awesome again.